too. Foreman says he wants to fight Mike Tyson, but who doesn't? With the money involved these days, Larry Holmes gets his chance next. We'll talk about comebacks, anything, but he didn't wait 10 years like George did.
What's not impressive about Foreman, and of course it could end with one punch, he's got that power though, is that he's not, except for the jab, which we just saw, the other punches he's throwing are not thrown very well. They're thrown in awkward fashion, and they don't have the quickness. Tell you what, they got the right referee in there to handle this fight, Richard Steele. He's big enough, he's experienced enough, and he's just good enough to deal with what could turn out to be something strange with two big men. Sekorski's a very awkward puncher. Eddie Foote said when Sekorski worked with Larry Holmes sparring with him, that was one of the things that they liked about him. He helped Larry get ready for that kind of style.
Big left. Big left.
I'll tell you, though, those kind of punches, I believe, right now, had better knock Rocky Sekorski out in the first 5 rounds. I really feel that if Foreman doesn't do that, he could have some problems later. If Sekorski can deal with that punishment, because he's hitting George with some shots.
Yes, he is.
And in the later rounds, if George is tired, you know, Rocky may be able to do something more dramatic with him.
Well, by way of guidance in the second career, which was launched March the 9th, George has finished his opponents as early as 3 rounds, has taken them as long as 6. He had a couple of 4-round knockouts along the way.
And really, in all truth, Tim Anderson, Bobby Crabtree, Charles Hofstetter, and Steve Zalski are not good opponents. They're just not. The man he's in there with now is at least representative.
They were of the caliber of the 5 he fought one night in Toronto back at his prime.
A regrettable incident all the way around. Good hook by Zalski.
Snapping left hook land.
See the way Foreman's delivering his punches. It's just not good. I mean, he's delivering them from the waist in a very strange fashion. See that? I mean, you can't be impressed with him. He's not performing that well.
He's just relying on one big bomb, whatever happens, to get the job done.
Well, and that has always been the case with him. Not always, but most of the time.
He's not here to point Rocky Sekorski. And he puts some punishment here. Some hip shots he's getting through.
But see, Rocky Sekorski is still standing there. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to get hurt with those, but he's not right now.
Round 2 is coming to a close. In the last 30 seconds, have seen some big blows from Foreman. They continue.
Remember I said George Foreman should use combinations? Now, this is not pretty, but it's a combination, and it worked. And Sekorski was right in front of them, which is what his cornermen are telling him not to do.
George easily penetrating Rocky's defense there, and in the corner, while we were away, Sekorski's corner, they talked about how George's hands were so low that he offers virtually no defense, and how Rocky should capitalize on that. They're all well enough said, but can't get done. How do you see the scoring so far?
They gave the second round to Foreman, the first round to Sekorski. Got it even at this point. Oh, break.
Well, I don't know quite what I expected coming in tonight, but I will say this, it is by far from being a total embarrassment. The 2 rounds I've seen to this day. Not a boxing classic either.
No, because it's interesting and they're both landing punches. What it tells us about George Foreman's ability to fight for a title is another thing.
Got a long way to go from what I've seen so far before that can ever happen. Again, the power is there, that snapping jab, and he's just going to try to bang and bang and submit.
And the jab is one thing, as we said earlier, that George Foreman has a good one. That's as classic as you get. It's powerful.
Considering he's almost 40 and he's had to lose all that weight, it's a fairly quick jab for a man that big.
It is quick. That's the one punch. Right hand may have stunned George Foreman.
And it was cracked a little bit. He did stagger with a knee.
Rocky is a very wide puncher. He loses a lot of power because of the way he punches. And also, he's going after a big man. That left hook may have stunned Sekorski.
It didn't get all of them, but it got enough, and he is in trouble against the ropes. He's taking all kinds of shots with both hands from Foreman now.
Trying to hold on.
Oh, good. It's a good left to connect at 4-4. He'd be out of here by now, and he may be very soon. Foreman is closing in on the end of this bout as he drives Sekorski across the ring. A minute to go.
And Rocky is not, by trade, a boxer.
chopping right hand. Now the hook. Foreman just teeing off on Sekorski. And Rocky somehow stays there and comes back for more.
Part of the interest and allure here is that even though Sekorski hasn't fought the top of the heavyweight division, he's not been knocked out. So part of Foreman's mission here tonight, whatever you think of what he's doing, was to get a knockout. That was important. And my goodness,
Look at his head snapping back. He reminds me of Randy Tex Cobb, the way he can take punches, but he's taking a terrible beating in the process. This is brutal. It is over. Richard Steele's had enough, and frankly, so have I.
Well, and Rocky Sekorski does not complain. He stayed on his feet, but took fantastic punishment. Interestingly enough, when Richard Steele stepped in, and again, there's no complaint, Rocky Sekorski was ready to step in and fight again. And then he said, damn it! Joe Daskowitz isn't happy.
But I'll tell you, the right thing was done, and I'm surprised that Steele took as long as he did. I'm also surprised that Sekorski stayed on his feet. He's had some wicked blows, but here's a man who's been knocked down just once and in a career dating back to 1981 as a pro.
Well, I don't know that I would fault Steele for being too late, but I do think it was the appropriate time. That one left hook, and I would have sworn when he landed the left hook that Sekorski was going to go down from it.
So did I.
He didn't, and it's only the toughness of that man that made him want to come back more. And whatever you say about Foreman, they're chatting with George Foreman, a very amiable guy, by the way. The power of George Foreman, well, it's still there.
We saw that in the States tonight. Sekorski felt the force of it, and here is what finally convinced Steele to call this a night.
Now those punches delivered in a better fashion. The jab and the straight right hand, and you'll see a left hook.
Oh.
That's not the real bad one, but I'll tell you, there's one coming up here. Yeah, now, he stayed on his feet after that, which is just astonishing. And Richard Steele jumps right in.
George can still punch. That much we know. Here's Chuck Huff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time. 2 minutes, 48 seconds of the third round. Referee Richard Steele stops the bout. The winner by a TKO, George Foreman.